Good evening, I am Adventure Argonaut. This is the Golden News, and we will discuss news very surprisingly from the past week in this stream. And I am checking what sort of that my streams are running. Kick and Twitch look okay. How about Rumble? Is Rumble working? Hello, hello. Slow. It is slow. And okay, it seems to be working as well. I think everything is fine. I should have all my chats in order already. And let's put this thing up here. So let's start with the first topic, which is of course Epstein. Epstein files saga continues. We have DLC. We have DLC for the Epstein stuff. Lots of new stuff. Like this week, there aren't like new stories per se, like groundbreaking. Because last few weeks there's been all these ice deaths, and of course last week the new Epstein files. But now it's just sort of continuing the same old stuff, but there's still quite a lot of tabs to go through, and my computer doesn't like it one bit that there's so much stuff here. But all right, so this photo has been shown around of some guy in Tel Aviv, allegedly. Well, there's even a sign saying, "Oh, there's Tel Aviv that way," so maybe it means he's not in Tel Aviv, or maybe it's like near on the outskirts or something. And he looks like Epstein, but with a beard and long hair. Yeah, so people said that Israel faked his death, Epstein is alive and walking in the streets of Tel Aviv. And my first impression when I saw this picture is that, well, my first is like, okay, somebody said, I don't think they said that who this guy looks like. It's like, I take a look at this and okay, it looks a bit like Epstein, but it's like, it's probably AI. But it does, and I've seen claims that it's AI, but I really don't know. But and I did see a couple of other pictures too of allegedly Epstein in similar with similar beard and stuff. But I have no idea whether there is true or not. Like this pic doesn't look obviously AI to me or anything. But like maybe if somebody can figure out who these two guys are they real people? Are they AI generated um, protection goons for what? Let's go to the next tab. We have lots of stuff here. If the tab is willing to load or open, then that would be great. Hello, hello. Okay, how about this one? Okay, let's see if the other one is willing to open, because for some reason it's not really opening right now. So somebody's complaining to Anna Kasparian. You cannot call yourself a journalist when you make unsubstantiated claims, such as Epstein himself telling that he worked for Mossad and took orders from the Rothschilds. So there's community notes. Direct quote from Epstein himself. As you probably know, I represent the Rothschilds, just like the current president of France, as in, or at least he used to, as seen in the reply to Anna Kasparian. Direct link to the emails with the Rothschild mentioned, the source being DOJ, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But here it doesn't say that um, he worked for Mossad, like he did pretty much, or maybe Mossad worked for him. And yeah, here it is. As you probably know, I represent the Rothschilds. I was hoping blah blah blah. Yeah, well, I guess that's good enough. So yeah, it's from the horse's mouth. Let's see if this is finally loading. Uh, okay, fine. Let's continue with these ones. Like I don't know, there's too little RAM or ROM or whatever, but I think it's bad optimization. I blame Windows and stuff that, just having a million tabs, it shouldn't slow stuff down so much. But anyway, a Russian foreign ministry spokeswoman says Epstein files expose how Jewish Western elites treat children, nothing more than cattle and meat. America's reputation is finished thanks to Jews. And I'm not gonna play the video because it's probably gonna, uh, take like my computer won't like it. And yeah, and people thought he was joking when he said this. So yeah, I guess I will try to play this video of Putin.
Столетиями
So
набивать
stuffing
брюхо
their belly with
человеческой
human
плотью, а
flesh,
карманы деньгами.
pockets with money,
Но они должны
but they need
понять,
to understand
что бал
vampire's
вампиров
ball is coming to an end.
заканчивается.
Here it doesn't,
Столетиями
uh,
набивать
it's not specified who he is referring to, but I guess you can imply sort of. Ah, yeah, it's a response to this video here. Hey, and Jay Anderson here says Kurt Metzger brought up a point to me yesterday. He said that Epstein files are a test of compliancy. If there is a bit of outrage, but overall it simmers down and it is accepted without major consequence, if humanity allows this, then permission for the next phase is given. I guess, yeah, and perhaps humanity deserves whatever is coming if they really sweep this under the rug. Like there are lots of people like me who are very, let's say, happy to start building oubliettes for these people. But the vast majority is probably still cares more about the Super Bowl or Marvel movies or whatever the fuck they care about. Good morning, Goim. Here's Ghislaine Maxwell fantasizing about Arab genocide a month after 9/11. So yeah, October 2001. It is the year 2032, and a father and his son walk the streets of Lower Manhattan, approaching the site where WTC, the World Trade Center, used to be in the end of the 20th century. The father sighs and comments, "To think that right here used to be the Twin Towers." The son, not understanding, asks his father, "What are the Twin Towers?" The father smiles and looks at the son and explains, "The Twin Towers were two huge buildings that used to be here until 2001 when the Arabs destroyed them." The son looks up to his father and, "What are the Arabs?" I don't know. I just think this is very lame on top of it all. And yeah, I don't think it was the Arabs that destroyed the towers, if you ask me. Bill Gates has firmly denied any illicit involvement with Jeffrey Epstein following the release of new Epstein files. Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email was false. I don't know what his thinking was there. So, yeah. So, according to Bill Gates, because last week I talked about, like, supposedly he procured some Russian prostitutes from Jeffrey Epstein and then got some STDs and he wanted antibiotics or something. Supposedly, allegedly. And, but like according to the, emails, Epstein files, but Bill Gates claims that he never sent the message. So Epstein sort of wrote the message and sent it to himself with the implication, like with the intention of framing Bill Gates sometime in the future, like 5 years later or however, whenever he did it. Well, it's more than 5 years because he died 6 years ago. died, quote unquote. But it wasn't in 2019. Anyways, so yeah, he wrote that, years and years ago, with like assuming that one day his tweets are gonna become public knowledge, and just to frame Bill Gates. That sounds so legit. I've never heard anything so legit before in my life. Kevin Spacey says he's open to playing Jeffrey Epstein in a biopic. Like, I think he would be great for that role, especially now that I think recall the picture of Kevin Spacey and Ghislaine Maxwell sitting on a throne, supposedly, and at Buckingham Palace or something. But Kevin Spacey is, he's been alleged to have done all sorts of sexual improprieties towards people, and his accusers just happened to die. So he's the most innocent man in the world, just like Jeffrey Epstein. So, like, I don't think that they should make a movie about Jeffrey Epstein, except documentaries exposing his crimes and stuff. But no, I don't think there should be a fictional movie, because it would, it would be inappropriate, let's just say. But, like, assuming that there would be, I think Kevin Spacey would be the right man for the job. Epstein file document references birth babies for black market use. What Israel has done is unforgivable. So this is from December 2020. Woman who accused John of God cult leader of rape mysteriously kills herself at Spanish home. So blah 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 spoke of this going on at Zorro Ranch. She said on record that Epstein offered her money to do this birth babies for black market use. Thanks for investigating this. And then there's the Sun article: activist probe arrest rapist John of God commits suicide. And it's both the recipient and the sender are censored, redacted. Are they victims? Uh, I guess the birth babies. I guess that sort of could mean that it's actually somebody who's talking about this birth babies for black market is sort of concerned over this practice. Still, Epstein on murdering female children. There are shrimp you throw away the head and keep the body. Well, I don't. My interpretation isn't that he's is about murdering children or anything like that. It's I don't think that's what he means. But let's see. So, like, the king of Saudi Arabia has a few white sharks in his at his Jeddah palace. I totally prefer yours. Sure, I would like enjoy the view. So on my island in the Caribbean with an aquarium full of girls, as uh, as long as you don't have any hammerhead ones. I like white sharks. As two are Russian, I guess some might refer to them as white sharks. Now some are like shrimp. You throw away the head and keep the body. So from Jeffrey Epstein to Colum Olivier. I don't know who this Olivier guy is. But I don't like, my interpretation isn't really that it's actual talking about actual decapitation, and it just means that maybe they are like their faces are ugly, so you ignore the head, and but they have nice body. Like, it's just like, not one. I don't want to defend Jeffrey Epstein, but that's my interpretation of this. This is just like, sleazy old man talking about women or something like that. So Jay Dyer here says bizarre Epstein code words question mark question mark. So yeah, there's so from Jeffrey Epstein to Wexner, Darren, House, Martin, something censored, Summers, Holdebush. No, it's subject. Sorry. So yeah, but so there's all these words: Wexner, Darren, House, Martin, Summers, Holdebush, Decoration, Passion, Sovereign, India, Edian, Morocco. So many like typos. 40M, Licon Plane, scheduled nutrition until live Paris HK Italy. I wonder if this is like some sort of cryptocurrency codes because don't the wallets they have like some random words like that? Like umbrella, tiki firm, four post entry rug, dressing round. That's what it sounds this looks like to me. Of course, it might be something else. Yeah, no, no, really. But suicide. I doubt crypto wallet would use the word suicide, but maybe I don't know. This is Francis Derby, the guy who talked about making jerky for Epstein. Jerky is a code word for child flesh. He worked at a place called the Cannibal. You can't make this stuff up. Well, allegedly, it's a code word for child flesh. Like, I think there's some other jerky emails. I saw it somewhere else. I don't think I have the tabs here. But it's probably a code word for something. But, like, it could very well mean human flesh or child flesh or whatever, but it could mean something else. So it's good not to assume. Like it's probably a code word for something unpleasant, but still could be something else. After 5 years, the helm of the Cannibal, turning the brand into a destination for all things, chef Francis Derby is leaving Group of May. Blah blah blah. Okay. Like yeah, I recall there was like I think it was some Asmongold YouTube video, just a few minutes long, that talked about this, and like there was a like a talking about walking jerky, and also like a jerky in the freezer, and you don't usually put it in the freezer. Just okay. This is. I don't think I can zoom in. Nope, because this is how Twitter works. So I can't really zoom in either. So just wanted to touch base about jerky. I think that's what it says. JE said and gonna give regular blah blah blah. Yeah, something jerky. Well, I guess that's the gist of it. That jerky is apparently some sort of code. Okay, finally, I this loaded. So Jeffrey Epstein assistant bought a single unlabeled $8,453 item from Wayfair. And Hans Hedgehog here says, I don't have a blue check. I'm heavily shadow banned. No one is probably going to see this. Hey, no, at least two more people are going to see this. On the off chance you do, this Wayfair transaction wasn't even made through the website. It was done through PayPal. Very strange. Okay, I don't use Wayfair, and well, I haven't used PayPal in over a decade. So I don't know how unusual it is to pay Wayfair like that, but anyway. Hello, Karina Shuliak. This email confirms that you have cancelled your billing agreement with Wayfair LLC. No further payments will be made from your PayPal account to this merchant. If you have any further questions about the agreement or wish to reinstate it, please contact Wayfair directly. So PayPal. Confirmation from PayPal for the same order. PayPal, hello. Okay. I think this is like a sort of referring without like directly referring. I do recall, regarding other Pizzagate stuff some years ago, there were like talks of like people. Was it Wayfair? It was probably Wayfair, like people selling furniture or something with like names of girls or something at very high prices. So some people suspected it to actually that they were actually doing human trafficking. So that's I guess what they're sort of assuming here as well. Yeah, this one, yeah, close. Okay. And Joe Biden was shot and killed in 2019 and replaced by a body double wearing a mask, right there in the Epstein related files released by the DOJ. So I wasn't able to confirm it, and at least last time when I clicked this, it didn't even work. And I don't want to try now because something might go wrong. But okay, maritime law is coming and selling and owning of humans and human souls is over. There is factual evidence on the methods of operation of how law and legal proceedings will work next. I do encourage you to watch the video and understand how common laws are going away. So, blah blah, quit fiddling your pussy and call someone and who has so much info that will incriminate you that when he deletes it, we'll find it on the quantum system that this great gentleman, blah blah blah, has made very clear in the video above. So, hint Biden is not your current president. The mask malfunctions on Biden, and here it says Biden with an A, not an E. Malfunctions on Biden are getting worse each day on purpose. This will end badly for blah blah, who's posing as with a fucking clone on Facebook. So why is this redacted? This name? This dude is playing Biden, ain't Biden. So it's I don't know. Is it like on purpose? Like maybe it's like hint that it's some guy called Dan or something. Oops. Anyway, real Biden was an evil, sick, angry man who abused children, including his own children. That's an actor with a fucking mask. We've been over this thousands of times. It's never gonna change. Biden is shot. 2019 firing squad. Yeah, this just sounds like some QAnon stuff, sort of that Patriots in control, and I don't buy it. But like that's a possibility that the real Biden was, that theory I've heard many times before. That's possible that real Biden has died years ago, and the guy playing Biden is just an actor. Especially like he's not dead yet officially, and have we seen him in public since Trump took office? America deserves to know who the fuck this person is. So, from Epstein to somebody, thank you for the fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty. Yeah, I think it would be. It's not just America who wants to know. I want to know too. Like, of course, this could simply be some, um, petite prostitute who is not a minor or anything like that. That's a possibility, but that's why this. Well, personally, I was about to say it should be investigated, but you know, I'd rather like put people mentioned in these emails into an oubliette, unless there's good reason to suggest that they are really innocent of anything. It's like at this point, for most of these people, I would assume guilt. Like call me hypocrite or whatever for whatever reason, but I don't really care. Like somebody like Ron Paul was mentioned, but he was mentioned in some political article saying that he's not the best choice for Israel. um so Jeffrey Epstein looking for a 14-year-old girl from Odessa, Ukraine is major trafficking hub for the goblins. Gobelinos. Hello, don't be so slow. Thank you, computer. All right. So from Odessa, she's past porn girl. You might want to talk to her as she has lots of friends. Ask her how long she worked for George Models in Odessa. Redact said, okay, and this is redacted. She said she had 4.5 jobs with them. She said she was 14, 15 years old. You can fly to see her if you like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she passed porn. Uh, I don't know what is past, but like 14-year-old porn. Yeah, that's like who are these other people? Why are they redacted? The photo with Netanyahu is so graphic they redacted the entire thing. What do you think it is? My guess is it's him torturing or a white child. If this is worse than anything they have released, then it must be extremely mad. Probably means bad. So from Epstein to Chess Staley, don't know who that is. I hope the ranch is fun. Great weather here in the Hamptons. Operation on my shoulder on Tuesday. Chess Staley, Blue Mountain Capital. So, Jess, I found this photo from a visit with Bibi Netanyahu regards Jacob, and yeah, oh no, it's a photo of a letter, clearly. See, Bibi never did anything bad. A Jewish philanthropist and the owner of New England Patriots, Robert Kraft. Hey, Patriots, I heard they lost, right? That's good. So he has unveiled an ad targeting Jew hatred that will be aired during the Super Bowl this Sunday. I haven't actually watched this, so let's watch it. If it works, that is.
Loser. Dude.
Did you see that? So bad.
Oh, bro, look at him. Oh my gosh.
Not funny.
Says dirty
Do
Jew.
not listen to that.
Thank you, man.
I know how it feels.
23 Jewish teams have experienced anti-Semitism. Share the blue and show you.
Nah. They're not worth it, bro.
Yeah, you're right. I was tripping.
What's your name?
Name's Dave.
David?
That's okay. That made me 1% more anti-Semitic. Just seeing that, it was like it is interesting. They identify themselves with blue. Maybe they should have a blue square like this to identify themselves. Maybe there's a point. Just to fight against hatred and all that. But the color blue is not the first time I'm seeing them it associated with them. Anyway, Nigel Farage suggests that behind it all, Jeffrey Epstein could have been working for the Putin regime. Farage is another deep state shield. Well, yeah, I think I've said it before, but I think Farage himself was the last person to expect Brexit actually to happen. He just thought he found a good grift that he could spend the rest of his life pushing for Brexit, and when it actually happens, like, oh, what am I gonna do now? And maybe at that point he really sold out to the establishment. But it's like, you cannot take anybody seriously who says something like that. Like either they're joking or they sold out. Hey, not to say that it's possible. Certainly, that Putin or Russian or something they could also be in cahoots, but it's not like it's obvious. It's Israel and America are more affected. Anyway, Mel Gibson once called for all American patriots to bring awareness to child trafficking. Everyone thought he was crazy. With the release of Epstein's files, is confirmed that he was telling the truth. Yeah, I think Mel Gibson. He's very much being vindicated about a lot of his stuff. Because I remember when I was about to say The Simpsons, but in South Park there was an episode with Mel Gibson, and that was like 20 years ago, probably more than that. And it confused me because Mel Gibson was made to be like a crazy guy or like a shit flinging monkey basically, and it's like I don't think so. Like I didn't necessarily agree with everything he said back in the day, but I thought it was interesting, worth listening to, and it confused me. Why would South Park make him out to seem like a completely nutcase? Well, now it's quite obvious because who runs Hollywood? It's the Mongols and the Koreans and Qataris, of course. Hollywood shut its doors on him. His film about Christ didn't get studio backing. Mel Gibson spent 30 million to make the film. It grossed over 600 million. He doesn't appear in Epstein files. Be like Mel Gibson. Well, I don't appear in the Epstein files, but yeah, I haven't made any movies and certainly haven't made millions with them. And yeah, it's supposedly making a sequel for it. And I like Passion of the Christ. Like back when it came out, I was still an atheist, but I still like the movie. One of the few famous actors who wasn't listed. Now I'm an agnostic or something like that, but that's a different story. One of the few famous actors who wasn't listed in the Epstein files was Mel Gibson, who was actually kicked out of Hollywood for exposing satanic Zionists. Ironically, Gibson is working on a new Christian movie which influenced him to visit Eastern Orthodox monks for a more creative inspiration. And in the Epstein files, the Eastern Orthodox Church is described as the last wall of defense against Western degeneracy and modernism. Like the KGB whistleblower Yuri Bezmenov once said, the only protection against demonic governments is turning to God. So what does let's just see the blue part. Dmitry Trenin, a scholar of the Moscow office in the Carnegie Endowment for the International Peace, is convinced that this is not just pandering to a devout constituency, but also something more personal. In the past 2 years, Putin has become more ideologically conservative, more inclined to see Europe as decadent and alien to the Orthodox Christian Eastern Slav world to which both Russia and Ukraine belong. So this is from the files, I guess, from Office of Terje Rod Larsen. Epstein confirmed he was an Israeli spy. Okay, so Epstein was close to the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, and trained as a spy under him, according to Federal Bureau of Investigation, unclassified. Date of contact 2020. Okay. Well, this is an FBI file saying that, yeah, he was. I'm not going to read all of this because we have stuff to go through. American students at UCLA are exposing their professor mentioned in the Epstein files. They said our Jewish professor is a pedophile. America is finally waking up to the Jews. It's good because, like, many of these professors, like, mostly you associate the, Epstein clients with like famous people, whether it's politicians, actors, or, business and people and stuff like that. But, like, and you don't really know about random
Professor had a
professors.
scheduled class tonight, but he sent a message to
It's 2 minutes. I'm not gonna play all of it or anything. But yeah, you don't really know about professors unless you actually, I don't know, um, work in their field. Let's say as a professor of mathematics, maybe you've heard of it if you're a mathematics student or if you work, study in their university. But like, so it's good that other people are getting exposed too for their criminal associations and stuff. So 9-year-old traffic needs to be unredacted. Yeah, from redacted to Jeffrey Epstein, new Brazilian just arrived, sexy and cute, 9YO, 9 years old. Like, yeah, this is like, I can't really interpret this in any other way except that, yeah, this is just pedo stuff and there's some, attachments or some pictures. Yeah, this just, thinking of the uh, famous words of Nick Fuentes that, um, Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a pedo. Well, maybe he wasn't, but he certainly seemed to have enabled others. And Bill Clinton, I have called for the full release of the Epstein files. I have provided a sworn statement of what I know, and just this week I've agreed to appear in person before the committee, but it's still not enough for Republicans in the House Oversight Committee. My like, oh well, so nice of Bill Clinton, he must be a good guy, right? But I'm pretty sure this is a bluff, because he knows that they are not gonna release all of the files, even though it would probably implicate him in some nasty business too. But he can sort of virtue signal that, yeah, I want the truth to come out without actually having to worry that the truth will actually come out, at least not in this way, not officially. Anyone engaged in covering this up will face the wrath of Jesus Christ. So what's this? Age 11 and full-size render.jpg. Yeah, it's like, okay, this at least could mean that maybe it's just some father sending a picture of his kid to his friend who was like, maybe they were talking before, like, oh, how old is your kid and how's your kid look like, or some, for whatever reason. And that's nice to Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, it's, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, but yeah, still this probably also more human trafficking stuff with minors, children. Yeah. The retrials in the UK Parliament are referring to Epstein as a Russian agent. Okay.
Polish government think Epstein may have been spying for Vladimir Putin. Is the Prime Minister concerned that Peter Mandelson may have been leaking state secrets, not just to a paedophile American financier, but also a Russian agent?
Well, Mr. Speaker, he talks of a public inquiry. Obviously, the focus now has to be on the criminal investigation which has started. As he knows, that investigation will go wherever the evidence leads it, and I've made it absolutely clear that the government will cooperate, as he would expect, with that criminal investigation.
Blah blah blah. But yeah, I think the guy seems more worried that um Russians might hear the information instead of American pedophile financiers or anything. That they're fine to get all the special secret information, but like not the Russians. And of course, it is possible that Epstein also leaked information to Russians, but still the allegation that he was somehow a Russian agent is the most retarded lie in a while. When Epstein files confirmed that Vladimir Putin didn't kidnap Ukrainian kids, he evacuated them to stop them from being sold into elite sex trafficking rings. Is this from Wolf of Wall Street? I just watched it like last week. It was okay, but sort of pushing degeneracy. But anyway, I don't know whether this claim is accurate or not, but I just heard it, and so yeah, I do hope genuinely that Putin is really a devout Orthodox Christian and so forth, who actually opposes this vampiric pedophile cannibalist crap. But I don't know. I'm still sort of 50-50 on that. So say what you want about the Chinese, but they need to be careful of the Jewish dog. Epstein's words, not mine. So what's this? From Epstein to Steve Bannon, Kim Jong-un met Xi Jinping as China tries to stay part of Korea's talks, Business Insider. So when I was in on the Trilateral Commission, I always took along my very pretty American-looking California blonde assistant that was silently fluent in the three main dialects. I loved it when they smiled to me as they said said to each other, "Be careful of the Jewish dog." Okay, so they actually said it according to him, that to his face, basically. Okay, but yeah, the yeah Chinese understand something, if that's true. Mark Epstein submitted to the FBI that Trump ordered the murder of his brother Jeffrey Epstein. Special agent, blah blah blah. I am a threat intake examiner, TEI, TIE fighter at the FBI National Threat Operations Center, NSOC, a unit where we receive information regarding criminal activity and threats to national security. Following information is being forwarded to a situation awareness and any action deemed appropriate. On February 22, 2023, Eastern Mark Epstein, date of birth, cellular, blah, 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 blah. So, okay, this is just crap. So, Jeffrey Epstein was murdered. So, submitted text. Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in his jail cell. I have reason to believe he was killed because he was about to name names. I believe President Trump was authorized his murder. It should be his murder. Violation question. Well, this feels a bit like like some distraction, like because I don't think he was. Or okay, perhaps let's look at that this way, that because I don't think he was murdered necessarily. Maybe he's still alive, or maybe he died like 3 years ago. He was taken out of the prison back then, and his death framed, and maybe he's died since. But anyway, like perhaps Trump actually authorized his murder, and they framed his death sort of to protect him from Trump's assassins, and took him somewhere else. Like that's possible. And I'm not saying which side here would be the good guys or bad guys, or anything like that. Like maybe that's what it means. This is the original Epstein whistleblower, Dutch supermodel Karen Mulder. She lost her career, was put on medication, and into a psych ward for speaking out. Don't forget her because she's a hero. So yeah, I don't think I've heard about her before. Maybe I heard the name somewhere, but like, Grok, is this true? Karen Mulder publicly alleged in 2001 that she was raped and abused by fashion industry figures, including elite model management. She was then hospitalized in a psychiatric facility for months, and her career suffered. No records show her name Jeffrey Epstein specifically. That connection seems retrospective based on industry overlap. She deserves recognition for speaking out on abuses. Okay, well, yeah, she probably was abused by, let's say, Epstein's friends or clients. Yeah. A new U.S. Israel Jeffrey Epstein told Steve Bannon that all roads lead to Tel Aviv. What a weird way to spell Moscow. So yeah, all roads lead to Beijing or Tel Aviv. Okay, whatever. But no connection to, no connection to Israel. It's all Russia, Russia, Russia. Uh, Jeffrey Epstein, do you want me to torture her? So from Epstein to Tancredi Macchiolo, I don't know who that is either. I wrote her that she is generally unpolite and not thankful, just like that. She should be more thankful in life. Understood, thanks. She wrote me on a BlackBerry Messenger that you are very nice and clever and sent a smiley face. She has excellent oral skills. Okay, so from Epstein to somebody else. Do you want me to try to do her or just torture her? So I guess it's to Tancredi Marchiolo, yeah. Hit on her. What would you like me to do to your friend? Okay. Uh, I I don't know. I don't even have anything to say. New DOJ files reveal that Woody Allen incinerated dozens of children at Jeffrey. I have nothing to say that wouldn't get me in trouble, I guess. Dozens of children at Jeffrey Epstein at Zorro Ranch. I've heard the Zorro Ranch, but I shame to admit I don't know much about it. Epstein's human experimentation lab was a place where hundreds of children disappeared and were never seen again. This is Pizzagate. So wait, Woody Allen incinerator. Let's see what's this. Does it work? Okay, this is people's voice. Okay. This. Okay, it's theoretically could be right information, but yeah, people's voice. No, that's BS. So this is probably BS, or like maybe the story is true, but it's written by people's voice to make it. Okay. I should have. Yeah, this Sean Adel. Yeah, that's genuine fake news as far as I am concerned. Sorry about that. Poland to examine increasingly likely possibility that pedophilia scandal was co-organized by intelligence services in Moscow. So Anna Kasparian says Epstein works for Israel. It's all over in the files. Media's actively attempt to bury it or muddy it in the waters. I guess this is the response at the start of the stream, and somebody's like, "Ooh, source." So, but make no mistake about it. Putin wasn't staying at Epstein's apartment. Former Israeli PM Ehud Barak was, though. Yeah. Um, This was the so Corrupterio says this was the last thing I tweeted before I got 1 month ban just before Christmas. So Epstein is probably in a fucking bunker in Tel Aviv. He probably, hit the nail on the head. Got punished for it. Deepak Chopra, I'm deeply saddened by the suffering of the victims in this case. I am equivocally condemn abuse and exploitation in all forms. I want to be clear, I was never involved in or participated in any criminal or exploitative conduct, blah blah blah. So reports on the Bring Your Girls invitation and the God is a construct email with the context post-conviction contact. So apparently he was in the files. So you are mentioned 3,300 plus times in the Epstein files, you pedo. Deepak Chopra. God is a contract. Cute girls are real. Okay, well, this is just lame. Like, God is a contract. This is so like a Reddit statement that, but like, cute girls are real. That's I agree with that. That doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. You can talk about 22-year-old women and call them girls still. At least when I was a kid, that used to be a thing. And also, you can say an 8-year-old girl is cute without being a pedo, but if you're in Epstein files, then yeah, you probably are a pedo. US government, we are not going to prosecute the predators in the Epstein files, and we are not going to release their names to the public. The Trump administration says it's doing this to protect Jews and to prevent further harm. Okay, let's have
Thank
to
you.
see.
You said this is the end of the Epstein, of your review of the Epstein files. So, just to clarify, is the public going to learn the identities of the men who abused the girls with the information that you're releasing? And if not, why not? And then I have a quick follow-up.
I mean, you just baked in an assumption into your question that I have never said and I don't know to be true. Is the public going to learn about men that abuse these girls? Like, what does that mean? I mean, I don't understand what that means.
Is he retarded?
They're the men who abused the young women through Epstein's.
Look, we said in July, and it remains as true today as it was in July. If we had information, we meaning the Department of Justice, about men who abused women, we would prosecute them, right? We talked about the work that we're doing. That's why I said that. I said this earlier. There's this built-in assumption that somehow there's this hidden tranche of information of men that we know about that we're covering up or that we're choosing.
That's just some of these emails we've watched. Yes, there's very probable evidence of abuse of minors, and many of the names were redacted. So yeah, there is evidence of this.
Not to prosecute. That is not the case. I don't know whether there are men out there that abuse these women.
So yeah, Department of Injustice. This guy should be an oubliette, in my humble opinion. Mel Gibson wants to know if he should run for governor of California. What do you think? Yes and no. Like Mel Gibson seems like a good guy. So should he soil himself with politics? Well, perhaps it's finally time to have actual politicians who aren't pedophiles. So perhaps. Leaked emails allegedly show the FBI working to shield and cover up elites named in Epstein files. So what's this? Good morning. Do you know what is the guidance for redacting images, or who would be able to assist with the guidance? Be CSAM, victims terribly, see additional details. Do we have a clear guidelines for redacting images? Guidance needed, blah blah blah. Blur, ID, IMD, RIDS, request guidance, redacting photographs, who is protected under transparency task. So this is from March of 2025, so like a year ago basically. As mentioned before, we need guidance to redact 1B items. IMD, RIDS is requesting clear and consistent guidance to process 1B items. 2B isn't that chick from that game. There are several boxes that need to be processed, and the sooner we have clear and consistent guidance, the sooner we'll start processing those Blah, blah, blah. Items contain photographs, multiple individuals to include subjects of this investigation, Epstein and Maxwell. So needs clear guidance, redact photographs. Some photographs depict victims, unknown, identified females and males, former US President, Secretary of State, and other celebrities. Software does not have IA facial recognition. I guess it should be AI, right? To assist with the identification of some of public officials and celebrities. Shield and cover elites named in Epstein files. But it's technically, I don't think they're necessarily saying that they want to cover all of these former US presidents and Secretary of State and so forth and celebrities. It's just, I guess they want clear guidelines for it, how to do it. But yeah, I guess it's interesting they share this email. So the government just admit they faked Epstein's death. Due to the large media presence outside MCC, a male OCME official called and said he would be arriving at the loading dock with a black vehicle. In order to thwart media, somebody used boxes and sheets to create what appeared to be a human body, which was to put into the white OCME vehicle, which the press followed, allowing the black vehicle to depart unnoticed with Epstein's body. See, it doesn't say that they faked Epstein's death. Like, it's possible they faked his death, but here it just says they made a fake body to deceive the media, basically, because at the end it said the black vehicle took Epstein's body, so it still implies that he was dead here. Turns out multiple targets of Ted Kaczynski were Epstein-affiliated pedos. Yeah, I'm not clear about the details on this stuff yet. I just saw many people talking about it. And Ted Kaczynski, of course, was the Unabomber, and I do recommend reading his manifesto. It's interesting and very insightful, especially it was written in the early 90s or something. Countries now launching investigations linked to the Epstein files: France, Turkey, United Kingdom, Poland, Lithuania, Norway, Latvia, Australia, North Macedonia, Sweden. Why not Finland? And I don't expect United Kingdom to do like an honest investigation to it, but at least if they're pretending, but hopefully some of these countries will actually do a proper investigation. Anyway, this is no longer isolated, it's global. TikTok, motherfuckers, it's all going to come out. Ghislaine Maxwell is controlling 9/11 Shadow Commission. Israel did 9/11. So what's this? Shadow Commission invitation to Ghislaine Maxwell from Ed. It just says Ed, okay? It's not even redacted like his email or anything. Any secret interest in being in the Shadow Commission on 9/11? The membership list is secret. Rough cut at edwardjepstein.com. Let me know. It's Ed Epstein. So wait, is this like Epstein's another brother, or who is this Epstein? Why was she invited to the Shadow Commission? What was her? I don't know. I should know more about the Shadow Commission, but I don't. Ted Kaczynski, aka the Unabomber, having targeted Yale professor David Gelernter, one of the creepiest creeps within Epstein files, pimping out his female students to him is an unexpected twist indeed. Yeah, so Ted Kaczynski seemed to know a lot. Like, I've heard claims that he was like an MK Ultra victim, but maybe he somehow shook his mind controlling or all that. So redact Epstein. She looks pregnant. Redacted. Radiating soft glow. That's the pizza. Email subject: pizza monster. What does pizza mean? Yeah. Uh, yeah, who is this other guy? I pizza is clearly code for something. Like it's good not to assume too much, but like I think it's usually assumed that it means young girls or something. Yale computer science professor David Gallagher is defending almost 6 years of email correspondence with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, 6 years, that's, yeah, including a recommendation for a student he described as completely connected with small, good looking blonde, reportedly saying that he was only trying to keep the potential boss's habits in mind. Epstein Gallagher reportedly wrote in an email sent Wednesday to the dean of Yale School of Engineering and Applied Science, would have asked for a lot more aesthetic detail if he had not already included information about students' appearance. He added, as long as I said nothing that dishonored her in any conceivable way, I'd have told him more or less what he wanted. She was smart, charming, gorgeous. I ought to have suppressed that info. Never. Okay. Ted Kaczynski kicked off his last bombing spree by sending this guy and one Charles Epstein mail bombs in the same weekend. How many Epsteins are there? I should. I don't know. In 1993, after a 6 year break, Kaczynski mailed a bomb to the home of Charles Epstein from the University of California, San Francisco. Epstein lost several fingers upon opening the package. The same weekend, Kaczynski mailed a bomb to get David Gallagher, a computer science professor at Yale University. Gallagher lost sight of in one eye, hearing in one ear, and a portion of his right hand. Oh my god, so horrible. Sometimes heroes don't wear capes. Yeah, and Kaczynski probably didn't kill himself. Mm. Just in rumors around Westminster that Mandelson is preparing to fly to Israel, where as a Jew he has immediate right of return and will be free from extradition as the Zionist entity doesn't allow international law or follow international. Should he be arrested, detained to prevent this? And apparently he's in the Israel becoming refuge for pedophiles. Well, what do you mean becoming? But anyway, I think he's also in the files. Always from the leak files. Is this Benjamin Netanyahu? And this looks like a young boy or something. But yeah, I do think it looks like Netanyahu, but like when he's younger. But it's very pixelated photo, so it's not sure what's. Wait, does he even? He doesn't even have any pants. Uh-huh. The government just admit they faked Epstein. Okay, we read that already elsewhere. Epstein's crew mocking little girl praying Jesus while getting abused. No streets right yet. Has society become this numb? Yeah, this is one of the sickest ones I've seen. So from Epstein to somebody else. Somebody said she felt God's presence next to her when she was in bed. She knows that Jesus watches over her and he helped save her life. Whoops. You should dress up as him when you see her. So meaning dress up as Jesus and to go screw this girl. Yeah, of course the OH Jesus I'm coming trick. This OH old, I don't know, but that yeah, that's very yeah. Jeffrey Epstein took a photo of the dinner he attended in 2015, which includes Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Mark Zuckerberg, Reid Hoffman, and others. Yeah, so this is like for decades I heard this straw man arguments against conspiracy theories, like they don't, they're not in dark smoke filled rooms conspiring against you, and haha, well this room doesn't look like they is smoke filled, they're not smoking cigars, but this looks like sort of your stereotypical conspiracy going on there. Yeah, Somebody should ask Elon Musk what's going on here. Maybe I'll try. I doubt he's gonna respond. So Elon Musk, can you tell me what went on here? All right. From the Epstein files, February 3rd, 2014, the day after the Super Bowl, Just Staley, CEO of Barclays, one of the largest banks in the world, emails Jeffrey Epstein. And this Staley was mentioned in another email earlier today. You want to know why we are not Sao Paulo? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. It's all about hip blacks in hip cars with white women. The group that should be in the streets has been brought off by Jay-Z. In 2014, millions of Brazilians took to the streets against corruption and inequality. Staley's telling Epstein that won't happen here. Americans are too distracted. Pop culture has done its job. Banking CEO writing to a child sex trafficker explaining why neither of them will ever face consequences. They think that you're bored, they think you're asleep, they think your commercials work, well, they're right. Well, for a lot of people, that is. Super Bowl is February 9th, but how about in 2014? I don't know. I don't care about that detail. Yeah. Statement announcing Jeffrey Epstein's death emerges in files, but it's dated a day before he died in his cell. So August 9th, 2019. And he died August 10th. So what the statement? Earlier this morning, Manhattan Correctional Center confirmed that Jeffrey Epstein, who faced charges brought by his office of engaging in the sex trafficking of minors, has been found unresponsive in his cell and pronounced dead shortly thereafter. Today's events are disturbing. We are deeply aware of the potential prevent and yet another hurdle to giving Epstein's many victims their day in court. Blah blah blah. So yeah, that's a bit sus. Bit sus. Epstein, not a pedophile, age 10, so from somebody to Jeffrey Epstein. Subject, why is the subject, I guess it's the name of the girl, the 10-year-old girl is redacted. What does
You
Epstein?
niggas are not ready for that conversation, but Jeff Epstein, not a pedophile, but you're not ready for that.
Not a pedophile, yeah. Fuentes, class act as usual. Dalai Lama says some recent media reports and social media posts concerning the Epstein files are attempting to link His Holiness Dalai Lama with Jeffrey Epstein. We can unequivocally confirm that His Holiness has never met Jeffrey Epstein or authorized any meeting or interaction with his by anyone on His Holiness' behalf. Okay. Thanks for clarifying that, Pedro Lama. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein, I'm working on the Dalai Lama for dinner. You sure? Uh-huh. Yeah, I know there's the time suck, which is weird, but yeah, I don't really particularly have anything for or against the Dalai Lama. Don't like him or dislike him. But I wonder, are there other mentions of him in the files except this one? CEO of Barclays laughs together with Epstein and the masses are busy with bread and circuses. We already read this stuff in the other tab. 6 million pages, the world is burning. Not 3 million, 6 million. 180,000 images, 2,000 videos, all released, all public right now. Country by country, they're falling. UK ambassador fired. Prince Andrew stripped of titles. PM apologized live on TV. Norway, former prime minister under criminal investigation. Crown princess apologized. Royal family splitting. Spain, former PM received packages from Epstein. Israel former PM Barak scheduling meetings with Rothschilds through Epstein. India billionaire used Epstein to access the White House. America silence, but the files don't lie. Epstein text. Well, actually, there probably are some lies there in the files too. Epstein texted Bannon, Trump wakes up in the middle of the night sweating when he hears you and I are friends. Uh-huh. A mother emailed Epstein about her 15-year-old daughter. Selena will have 5 friends over. Uh-huh. That's fucking disturbing. The mother child that. A Goldman Sachs exec received 9,400 bucks Hermes bag as a gift from Epstein, still employed. It's even not that expensive. Come on, like if you're Goldman Sachs executive and you're getting bribed, you should ask for more. 6 countries, 6 million pages, 0 American arrest. They're protecting the names at the top, but the files are out. The world is reading every page, every email, the flight log, every photo. There's no deleting what's already been downloaded by millions. The reckoning has begun. It won't stop until every name answers dark to light. Okay, it's some Q stuff, but it's like I guess what's more interesting is like this. I didn't know about the like your Spanish former PM and former prime minister in Norway under criminal investigation. U.S. government has removed 34 documents related to Netanyahu and the Epstein files. Why? So yeah, here Israel's leader Netanyahu is mentioned 690 times in the Epstein files. Here it shows Netanyahu. But the U.S. government has, so here is 656. So yeah, it's 34 documents were removed apparently. I wonder what they contained. And yeah, some people claim that Netanyahu isn't mentioned in the files at all, but that's clearly wrong. Tommy Mottola, the former CEO of Sony Music, is in the Epstein files. Mottola, it sounds like a Finnish name, it's more like Möttölä, should have like umlauts on them or whatever. So a long time ago, Michael Jackson tried to warn us about Tommy Mottola is a devil. Yeah, like when I was a kid already, like in the 90s, I never really liked Michael Jackson's music and he seemed like a freak. So I was happy to believe what they said, that he's a pedo. But, in hindsight, already many years ago, I thought that, yeah, maybe he was just, a weirdo, but not evil or anything. He was probably one of the decent people there. Senator Ted Cruz, if Epstein served any foreign interest, Israel wasn't among them. Come on, at least try to make your lies a bit more convincing, please. Have some respect for us. You'll know who else is in the Epstein files that no one mentioned. Tom Cruise, who flipped his shit when the studio edited Eyes Wide Shut after Kubrick's death. Tom Cruise. Yeah, I just like saw some claim earlier that supposedly like there were like a lot of shit that basically like half of the movie was reshot um after like Kubrick's death or something like Great Deal or something that is anyway. So Tom Cruise, who's no longer a Scientologist. Tom Cruise, I didn't know he's no longer a Scientologist. Who told CCP to shove it when he wouldn't remove the Taiwan flag from his jacket on Top Gun Maverick? Tom Cruise. Also, don't really recall him doing very much virtue signaling at all, despite the fact that nearly every celebrity does. Maybe it's time we start contemplating the possibility that this dude was an informant, much like Trump. But I'm wondering about this Trump's informant stuff, how much of it is true. I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying it deserves consideration. And yes, I know he refused to ask Trump for help pertaining to a new space movie that optics. Before you say it, forget the fact that he blew up on the set of Maverick because people weren't wearing masks. It had nothing to do with mask and everything to do with being tired of production being delayed. And every time someone was on set sans a mask, Paramount shut filming down. He was pissed at the delays, not the fact that folks weren't wearing masks. Okay, whatever. Yeah, just for the record, I've never been a fan of Tom Cruise. Like, I've known who he was since the 80s, basically, but never been a big fan. But, like, if he's a good, decent guy, that's great news, but never been, like, a fan of him as an actor. Um, Anti-Epstein protests are breaking out in Chicago. Protesters are shutting down streets. Super Bowl ad is fucked, spittable with giant dildo and playing and repeat in stadium. Countries literally collapsing. Okay, yeah, I don't want to show this dildo. Maybe there was like glimpse of it already. Breaking Bad star Giancarlo Esposito says it's time for a revolution. Says some people would die, but the rest of us would survive. They can't take us all down. If the world showed up in Washington, they'd kill 550 million or however, but the rest of us would survive. This is time for a revolution. Well, yeah, I think he should be the first one to go. I just wonder whether he's in the files. Like, I'm not against, like, his the basic idea of a revolution, but it's like I'm wondering, like, who he's advocating for here, like who he's rooting for. Well, redact the name is just pizza, right? So yeah, Jeffrey Epstein to somebody else is redacted pizza. Yeah, Pizzagate is a crazy conspiracy theory, nothing to do with anything. Uncensored AI presents Uncensored Epstein's real-time Wikipedia for everything Epstein. We files tag culprits, add context, talk shit, and call out and downvote any confusion ops. So still adding files, making improvements. Big thanks for it, blah blah blah. So I did try it very shortly, and it seems unfinished yet. But, like, if it's actually finished and it works at one day, it's gonna be pretty great, I guess. Elon Musk says he will pay legal defense costs for anyone sued for speaking the truth about Jeffrey Epstein case. Well, if that's true, that's pretty cool, I guess, as well. We'll see whether it's gonna happen. Justin Thomas Massey just confirmed Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem was the center of the torture video. So, don't know who this guy is. In response to my post on X to the DOJ, unredacted FBI file that labels two individuals as co-conspirators, unredacted a file that lists several men who might be implicated, tacitly admitted that Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem was the center of the torture video. Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, leading Emirati businessman, chairman of Nakheel and CEO of DP World, has had past business ties with Donald Trump's organization, including Trump-branded real estate partnership in Dubai and public comments about trade policies under Trump's presidency. Okay. The Department of Homeland Security has been quietly demanding tech companies to turn over information about critics of Trump administration per TC. I don't know what is TC. They have been requesting to anonymous Instagram accounts. So, okay, this is so far, it's an allegation I haven't seen elsewhere, so don't know whether this is true. But interesting if it is. Thomas Massey says he's ready to use nuclear option if DOJ refuses to unredact the names of Epstein clients. He will simply start reading Epstein client names publicly if Pam Bondi's Department of Justice does not release them. If the victims want to give them to me, I've expressed I'm willing to do that. Okay. If this happens and Israel assassinates Massey in broad daylight, Lipschitz will still find a way to stop being so anti-Semitic. Maybe. Also, conservatives, MAGA peds. Michael Jackson was a pedophile who could, so New York Post claims, was a pedophile who could abuse children almost with impunity, claims prosecutor who tried King of Pop. Taj Jackson. So, are you still using my uncle as a smokescreen? New York Post. We see you. The more the public talks about Epstein, the more you post about Michael Jackson. The public has caught on. I suggest you read the room. Yeah. Translation of the Chinese comment. So here, help us, China, said somebody, and then this Chinese comment: revolution begins with yourself. An egg broken from the outside is food, broken from the inside, it's new life. It's actually sort of profound. Um, yeah, but like, America has a million trillion guns. I've been hearing about, like, Europe is cocked and stuff, but America has million trillion guns. So why don't they do something? So PAX 2, what's basically been confirmed by the Epstein files so far. Epstein, Maxwell, and other Jews worked for Mossad to collect pedophile blackmail on Western leaders. High-ranking members of the Democrat and Republican parties are implicated, as well as many media and university figures. The goal was to secure total Israeli domination of the American system, which Israel already had major influence over, but they wanted total control. This group of Mossad agents and their collaborators can collectively be called Epstein class. So, and two, Epstein and co. worked together to influence both left and right, fostering deliberate hatred and confusion so people would be fighting each other instead of focusing on other activities. Three, Epstein was also deeply connected to Ukraine and supported Zelensky for president. In my latest video, I emphasized how Ukraine and Israel should be viewed as the same Jewish entity. These new revelations further cement that reality. So PaxTube is a YouTube channel which is decent. All right, but finally we're done with this part of the Epstein files. So let's just move on. It took more than an hour to go through this shit. So yeah, financial crash. So during this week there was lots of financial crashing, or I don't know if the money, if it's back or not. Like it's not like I have money. I would care that much about it. Doesn't really affect my life either way. So BlackRock has sold 3,000, was like almost 4 billion trillion Bitcoin, or in Bitcoin. And yeah, there was it last week already, like big crash of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as well. And Palantir Technologies, Palantir just lost $40 billion in market cap. Oh no, how unfortunate. All right, but that's that. So I presume it's somehow related, at least partially, to this Epstein stuff. Okay, a guy throws grenade in France into a cafe. That's a very well written sentence, isn't it? I pride myself on that. 6 people, including a 5-year-old child, were injured after a man threw a grenade into a beauty salon in Grenoble. Oh, sorry, it was a beauty salon. It wasn't a cafe, whatever. So yeah, people injured. So, well, what sort of sicko would do all that and stuff? And here it says, according to this guy, I have no idea whether it's true. There's no community note saying it, but saying it's untrue. But Israeli tourist in France throws a grenade into a beauty salon, injuring 6 people and a child. They recorded it and posted it on social media, saying, "Don't mess with us. We are the IDF." So yeah, I don't know whether it's actually an Israel, but I'm pretty sure it's not, let's say, ethnically French, whoever that is. All right, but that's that news already. Let's go to Antarctica. So a streamer arrested for streaming in Antarctica, or at least detained or something. Kick streamer who tried to live stream from Antarctica has his internet service and equipment immediately confiscated.
The IRL in Antarctica, boys.
It's just okay. I thought there's snow everywhere, but apparently it doesn't look that cold. Like they have warm clothes, but doesn't look like super cold.
IRL in Antarctica.
Hello.
How's it going?
Not that good. So you have a Starlink?
Yeah.
Okay, it's confiscated. You will receive it on the way back.
You can't use it on the land?
Say again?
Can't use it on the land?
No.
Okay. They checked it in biosecurity yesterday and they didn't have a problem really going on, but you're the captain, so it's all yours.
Okay. You will receive it in the end of the trip, okay?
Okay, cool.
It's not, such devices, they're not anything that is related to the internet connection, cybersecurity is completely forbidden.
Really? So no one's allowed to have a star on land?
Nope, not even a single piece of internet.
Really? On land?
That is not secure. No.
Is that for like all of it? I'm just asking questions. I'm not arguing with you. For all of Antarctica?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. For all, it's available for all ships. It's not only this ship, all the ships around, and especially this one. We have cybersecurity. We have policies to follow.
So what the fuck is in Antarctica? Is there like, like some gigantic demon is there, like, and if you, it might wake up, like, a dormant demon deep inside the ice of Antarctica, like, bigger than any mountain and stuff, like, and like Wi-Fi waves might wake it from its slumber and destroy half of the earth if it woke up or something. Like, what the fuck is so? What's the secret with Antarctica? It's like there's clearly something there, but it's like there are a million theories, of course. But I guess maybe this is like one of the big questions that we should be, asking on top of all the Epstein stuff. Maybe North Pole also has something that, we're told there's nothing there that's interesting. Maybe there's something that we're not told about it as well.
Unfortunately, we cannot let you.
Right, bring it on land.
Yeah.
And that's for every ship in Antarctica?
Yeah, for everybody.
Okay.
But our procedures, they are very strict, and such devices, they are not allowed, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. That's fine. Thank you for informing us. I apologize if there was any issue. I just didn't. I didn't see any problem with it, like online when I was researching and stuff. But you're the captain.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sorry for taking you away
No
from
problem.
your station.
No problem.
I apologize.
Thank you for understanding.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Yeah, like, why? How would it interfere with anything? Like, if it's just, there's just penguins and ice there basically, and I don't know, a couple of research stations. Was John Carpenter's The Thing? Was it a documentary? But somehow, like, I don't freaking know. But there is this. Do I have it here? No, sorry. This one, yeah, all right. You probably can't make it out. I certainly can't read it there. Let's see. This is an ancient fortune post, and I think I've talked about this before. All right, let's get back there. All right. I'm not gonna read all of this, but this is fascinating. This is, 99% sure this is just, some sort of science fiction fanfic from somebody, but like, what if it's not? God damn it. All right. This is from 2016. Guys, that my maybe I'll open it for myself here. Maybe it's easier to read here. Yeah. Okay, guys, that my posts, as you will, I've been refraining from posting some time. Even back in the old days in Antarctica on X and poll several years ago, I figured it was good as I'm Eddie. I stopped myself from posting because I feared gang stalking or being traced. If there's any truth to what I'm about to post now, I just think, fuck it. This post will most likely go unnoticed anyways. Gang stalking is such an irrational fear for myself. My knowledge of Antarctica comes from my best friend of 50 years now. Though we grew up together, we grew up in very different conditions. He was from the rich family who owned one of the largest factories in my hometown. I was the opposite, just a naive kid playing around town when we first met. We were best friends then. I still consider him my best friend now, despite him traveling around the world, going to Princeton, or doing whatever he wanted. The point is, he's a 31st degree Mason and has lived a life way beyond I can imagine. Despite all this, he always comes to visit, sometimes several times a year, sometimes not for years. When he does, we usually get smashed and trashed. Hookers blow, he even bought me DMT and crazy shit. Okay, enough backstory, time for the goods. This comes from him. His story hasn't changed, though he only told me this roughly 5 years ago. Told me shit would be happening in less than a decade. This starts with religion. Well, if this was written 10 years ago, so let's see if this is happening now. This starts with religion. At first, I rolled my eyes, but as he talked more, it sent shivers down my spine. So the Masons have been in charge of controlling release in public information to the public at reasonable levels. That is what he told me the majority of his Masonic duty entails. First piece of they altered was the Bible. Major part of the Bible was cut from the Revelation, revealing where the Antichrist and the beast would emerge from. He said the section was cut out was the most important. Okay. Scary trips. Cake is listening because trips, 3 trips. Okay. So the revelation stated that the last Antichrist would be a total opposite of Jesus, spreading disease from an old age, which turned most humans into zombies, or some weird shit he had said. Anyways, he said this Antichrist was trapped in a frozen wasteland with magnificent buildings that was being held captive by kilometers of ice. I think he doesn't know exactly if this is an individual. Even the Masons think it's a virus of some sort. The Bible didn't specifically state, but he said this is where the saying comes from when hell freezes over. Hell is already frozen over, and once hell is defrozen, then all real hell will be unleashed. Maybe that's one reason why they're so defensive of Antarctica. He told me these temples in Antarctica have been explored by a group of people in control of the government. The same group is doing crowd control methods all around the world. Um, have been digging, hoping to find this Antichrist buried in Antarctica because some believe it is the key to immortality. For another small section, the Bible did refer to the everlasting life, Garden of Eden being hidden right beside this Antichrist. And in order to bring about the last days, it had to happen anyway. So teams have been digging, blowing shit up, covering up, stopping visits. Though he said they can visit the outside portions of Antarctica only. Those who will never ever get to see those temples, and constantly destroying any information leaked from this expedition. He told me several years ago some Russian thought he found a portion of the immortality and injected himself with an ancient virus they discovered in a vial in one of the temples. He even cringed when talking to this story and said the guy instantly turned blue and froze over. Everyone ran out, and when they returned, his body was gone. Now they only work in those giant radioactive suits. He said he had to replace him with a body double to avoid drawing notice or some shit in his real life. He went into great detail about how big and complicated those samples. He caused a big giant city expand across the entire. Zoom here, okay. Expand across the entire continent. Said from one sample where you enter, there are hundreds of rooms, hallways, traps, all types of simple shit on the walls, large books of ancient text no one can read, vials upon vials of random liquids which they can't even remotely identify, but he said most contain living organisms in these vials. They protected behind large traps, shit from Indiana Jones. He said they already lost over 500 people exploring, and now they're using robots. But shit is so complicated. You have to move blocks to open doors, solve riddles. Sounds like Tomb Raider and shit. I don't know. He said it's truly a giant mousetrap. There are keys and legends on the walls. Single room can contain up to 100 different keys for solving to open a trap. It's crazy shit. They have the smartest people working on it. They send in third world people to go and open doors, and when they think they solved it, shit I still don't know what to make of. So some other stuff he told me. Most movies, books represent what they think will happen when it's discovered, like Transformers with the forget his name, all these zombie movies and all the other shit in media. I'm not sure if you guys care. Essentially, I have crazy stories from all these years. A lot of examples I forgot because of our drunken binges, but this is a gist of it. Don't know if it confirms anything for you, but it's my 2 cents. Just for you, I will type out everything I know. He said Game of Thrones, one of the only shows I watch so I can relate to what he said, shows what they think will happen when they discover the Antichrist. They aren't sure, but the White Walkers are meant to get normies ready to fight against a possible zombie outbreak, why they think it is soon. A quote he kept repeating from the Bible was, "After the war of wars, after the winter of winters, is when everything would happen." He think the war of wars was from World War II up until now, not non-stop fighting across the earth. The winter of winter refers to ice of Antarctica decreasing and opening up parts of islands still frozen. Another crazy fact he said is there will be Jesus or Christ right beside the Antichrist. You will get to choose when it's first discovered. He think it will be two vials beside each other and you will have to drink one. After the Russians, uh, yeah, I think yeah. After the Russian, they put in a ban for ingesting any shit from these temples to prevent anything from happening. It's truly a clusterfuck of arguments because everyone wants to be the first to keep discovering, but they are in disagreement of what to do with these random vials they keep finding. He said each other has random living organisms inside of it and bacteria, viruses we have never seen before. Shit like makes apple rot in minutes and a monkey explode diarrhea, shaking to death. Well, the coolest thing he said is there's a frozen giant skeleton in golden armor in one of the temples holding the skull of giant reptile, which looks to be over 30 feet tall. The giant, and the reptile head is roughly the size of a van. It's incredible to see and unbelievable. Yeah. This is the part I wanted to see. Okay. Go down here. He mentioned some Jewish TV show called 100. I haven't seen it, but he said the leader takes a chips or drinks something with takes, gives him get them the recollection of all the knowledge previous, lets them control the others with their minds. This is what they think is the immortality vial. So the media shit they keep releasing is just theorizing everything and making entertainment of it. It's funny because it's the truth in a way, he said, and the public eats it up. It's like there was one episode of Stargate, like where they were in Antarctica and some research station. There was some disease and stuff, and they found some chick frozen there who'd been frozen for thousands of years. And just wondering, I still don't think this is, you know, I think this guy just made it up, but it's interesting. So that this is why I like this. One long binge, he did tell me everything they found so far. It must have been hours. He was talking. Lots of shit just went through me because it was so unbelievable. Aside from the traps, the walls are covered with in symbols and images. Shit which is supposedly happened, shit which hasn't happened, and shit just no one knows what to think about. He said this image is drawn in some ink which looks like it's printed on a piece of paper. He has predicted many events recently. An Illuminati card game. This piece of fortune I do enjoy threads about were actually pictures on the walls of these temples. He said they look so lifelike, even though being drawn, they had to release them in a game because these events were coming true over time. They keep doing, which is scary and crazy. For them, it's just another piece of media which flies over the heads of population, but for them, it's a giant timeline. He said there's tons of shit hidden in media which they find and suddenly hide, but it doesn't matter to anyone because we just keep consuming shit and not caring, nor would we care unless we saw it in real life. I was amazed when he mentioned this game because I actually own it and took it out and we played for hours. He explained a shit ton of cards which happened and the cards which they think will be happening soon. He said each and every card is a picture from the wall and nothing is made up. I guess I'm not gonna read all of that. I will show it here, like if you wanna pause and read it or something later if you haven't seen this before. Yeah, I just find it fascinating. That's why I'm obsessed. But yeah, I'm not convinced. Like all this conspiracy. I also own a copy of the Illuminati, like Illuminati New World Order card game, like the factory set, and I don't think there's any like predictive programming in the game. I just think it's a card game that the people did their research well, who talked about discussed conspiracies in the form of a card game. But anyways, let's go to new stuff. So Japan might amend their constitution. So they had like some election. So breaking news: LDP has secured a supermajority of 310 seats. So the right wing in Japan has a large enough supermajority that they can amend the constitution that was forced on them at gunpoint by American liberals in 1945. For the first time in nearly a century, the soul of Japan can be reclaimed. Like in principle, I would be supporting it that Japan can have a proper military again and stuff. But I'm a bit apprehensive, like LDP, the prime minister is, Sanae Takaichi, and she was supposed to be uh, this very traditional figure, but it appears that she's gonna be importing lots of Indians to Japan and stuff like that. So maybe she's not gonna do what she promised to do. So like if her government does amend the constitution, maybe they will say that Indians are Japanese too, and anti-Semitism will get you the death penalty or something. So that has me a little bit concerned, but I guess we will see. So if you wonder why Japan is dying out, it's no mystery. Observe their skulls carefully. So this is from 2018. How a Jewish woman helped shape modern Japan. Yeah, these skull shapes are a bit weird, and yeah, and according to this Koro Bochka, who was suspended for a while on Twitter because Groypers don't seem to like him, but he's back now. So he is also alleging that Takaichi is part of the Moonist Church, the Unification Church or something, and she's basically Neanderthal, and perhaps she is, because as far as I know, she is not the trad savior of Japan she was supposed to be. And China has developed world's first compact high-power microwave weapon against Starlink. The weapon can deliver 20 gigawatts of power to fry Starlink satellites in low orbit. So is it only Starlink, or is there other uses for this weapon? But whatever. Let's go to Israel Delenda Est. Israel has to be destroyed. Talking about the political entity, blah blah blah, not about the people, of course. Nothing bad about that, like that. But yeah, Israel has to be destroyed for the stability of the world. Like the Epstein files and stuff keep pointing out. And change of browser. So China bans all new investments in Israel. That's cool if true. Hello, is it loading? Yes, okay. UK billionaire Branson kisses ground upon arrival in Israel. How to spot a pedophile? Possibly, yes. This is how Italians welcomed Israeli Olympic team outside their housing. Everyone now knows about them. Global fury is breaking. So yeah, there's some Olympics going on in Milano or something. I guess Winter Olympics. Who cares about them outside of this sort of stuff? Uh, yeah, that's nice welcome, warm welcome. Very nice for them. Italian dock workers went on strike nationwide, blocking ports and stopping ships carrying military supplies bound for Israel. That's cool. I guess that's cool. Second day of anti-Israel protest in Italy. Italian protesters are raiding Olympics venues in search of Israeli terrorists and tourists. Italian police deployed water cannon and tear gas. Full chaos is breaking out at the Olympics. Okay. So it's just about anti-Israel. So I wonder whether the protesters are they. I somewhere I saw somebody claim they're anti-fascists, but it's like, then why are they against Israel? But like, are they right wing, left wing, or do they care at this point? Because I don't think we should care so much about right wing and left wing. I've been saying that for a while, that the left right paradigm is retarded. Russia remains banned from participating in the Olympics for being at war with Ukraine. Israel is allowed to participate after killing nearly 73,600 people in a genocide, around 20,000 of whom are children. Can somebody explain it to me? Well, it's because, Israel and Israel related people still control our societies. That's why they get preferential treatment. Not for long, hopefully. Or maybe different kind of preferential treatment. Israel's anti-Israel protests at the Olympics lead to the first forced back by Israeli tourists. Israel Mossad agents are shooting up civilians on the highway, staging this as a robbery of a money truck. They have military-grade guns and explosives. So officially this is like a robbery on the streets of Italy, but according to this guy, they're Israeli operatives. I don't know which is the truth here, but yeah, interesting. And members of the Israel Olympic bobsled team claim they were allegedly robbed. They say everything was stolen from their apartment: laptops, passports, clothes, money, etc. Do you believe them? See, this is like a Schrodinger's dilemma or something, because I got believe both to be true, that they lied about it to get their victim points, but then again they are disliked, so I can believe somebody actually doing it. What's this? The Goyim know, what do they know? Oh yeah, Avi Yemini, some Israel adjacent person. Dear Goyim, know this, we love you. It just sounds so patronizing. Unless you hate us. Before jumping on the latest outrage trend, maybe learn what the word actually means. Goy means nation in the Torah. Joshua called Goy Kadosh a holy nation. This is not a slur you're selling you. And yes, Epstein was a piece of shit. Every friend and connection of his should be exposed. Thank you for your attention. Okay, you're his. I completely agree, but he's his connection because you share a certain belief, certain ancestry, certain background, whatever. So yeah, you're part of the Epstein gang then, this guy, and most guys like him. And what's this? I know I said this to this Jewish mob that I'm disliked, and I know why I'm disliked. You people have been disliked for 3,000 years. Do you even look in the mirror and ask yourself, why are you disliked? David Irving. I guess I have to pay.
In Louisiana about 6 months ago, and on this occasion the audience was about as large as this, but half the audience had been taken over by the local Jewish community, and they decided to wreck my meeting by barracking and by interrupting and by being thoroughly obnoxious. And after an hour of this, with the rest of the audience getting very restless at the way they were not being permitted to hear me deliver my lecture, I then said to the leader of the Jewish community who was attacking me, I said, it just came to me like this. I said, I look at myself in the mirror in the mornings and I know that I'm disliked. I've been called disliked by reviewers in England. The Sunday Times called me the most disliked historian in Britain. which caused me to write a letter to the Sunday Times saying, is it the historian's duty to be liked, therefore? And how do you know that I'm the most disliked historian in Britain? Do you stand in Oxford Street with a clipboard asking people, what do you think about historians? How do you rate David? And, oh, he's most disliked. I know, I said to this Jewish mob in my audience, that I am disliked, and I know why I'm disliked. Now, you people have been disliked for 3,000 years. Do you ever look in the mirror and ask yourselves why you are disliked? That might be very... No, I didn't mean it in an offensive way. I meant it as a helpful.
But that's the most anti-Semitic question in history, possibly. Yeah, David Irving was or is a historian. I don't remember if he's still alive. Like, at least he was. Whatever. Like, at least he's not very healthy anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, I think it's time to move on though to new stuff. Yeah, so let's go to gaming and entertainment stuff, and also some IT news and stuff like that. And we still aren't free of Epstein stuff, because Jeffrey Epstein account is online right now playing Fortnite from Israel. So this little Saint Jeff 1, this was shown in the Epstein files. I believe that it was paid Xbox Live or something like $25 or something, and so it's supposedly Epstein's account, and no, it's Epic, so it's Fortnite account. So of course, yeah, but whatever, they were paid like $25 or something, and it was, well, there's some other stuff here, so let's see what they say about it. But yeah, apparently it's not offline if it was his account. Epstein's alleged Fortnite account was inactive during the same time he was arrested. Little Saint Jeff 1 was inactive throughout his arrest and wouldn't, it as soon as Epstein died, it came back online during season 10, which started August 2019, the same month he died. Fortnite official account called it random troll and debunked this theory. But if it was that old account, it sounds a bit questionable whether it's just some... So I'm not really sure what I'm looking at here. I know there's the seasons, but does it show somewhere where's the account? Like, does it here show like how many hours it played on these seasons? I'm not quite sure how to, because I don't know about Fortnite much. I'm too old for that. And what's this? So the fact that this got committed now, that is fucking horrifying given all the context. Might be called conspiracy theories for this, but it feels like a massive cover-up. Fortnite is even involved. So what's this? They fucking deleted the community note. What the fuck? So Fortnite status, hey officials, Fortnite here. This is a ruse by a Fortnite player. A few days ago, an existing Fortnite account gonna change their username from something totally unrelated to Little Saint Jeff 1. Following the revelation of Little Saint Jeff as a name on YouTube. Okay, this explanation does not hold true when reviewing Fortnite GG 2025 Wrapped, showing the username tied to games played in 2025. UID was consistent in 2025. See the alleged Epstein name, see the list in Wrapped. See player with the recent name change, previous name in Wrapped. So apparently they're lying. They're straight out lying. So this is, pedonite. Sounds like they are covering up for Epstein. Like, maybe they could have just said nothing and let people. But this makes it really sus that maybe it is Epstein. But like it doesn't prove, even if it is Epstein's old account, it doesn't prove that he's alive, because it could be his, friend using it, the account or something. Like, maybe the account has all the nice loot, and the friend has had access to his password and stuff, so he's just using it. Or maybe his friend is using it also because it's sort of like cool to use Epstein's account, because of the notoriety and stuff. So that's definitely a possibility. Or perhaps it is his account. And he's sort of using it to, to dare stuff. An alleged Jeffrey Epstein account played Rocket League less than 3 days ago. So yeah, this is the Epic account. Yeah, because the Fortnite is in Epic. I don't use Epic anything, so I don't know. So yeah. But Rocket League is a decent game, but didn't they sort of sell out at some point? Like you cannot buy it on Steam anymore. Like I got it on Steam many years ago, and I haven't touched it. But otherwise, it's a fairly fun game. I'm not big into racing or sports games, but that's one of the exceptions. Anyway, any video of Israel being booed is being removed from YouTube too. Well, I guess that should have been in the Israel Delendaest section or whatever. So Israel booed at Olympics opening. This media has been disabled. Response to a report by the copyright owner. So this is from Twitter or X. Moving boos from the internet. So they do not want people to know how unpopular Israel is. I guess if every people was able to voice their opinion on Israel simultaneously to each other, like psychically, like maybe we'd find out that it's like the 95% of human beings despise Israel, regardless of their political beliefs. And Bannon was laundering money for evil people. So was this Epstein used World of Warcraft Gold to move money without getting traced. Back in 2007, Bannon was coincidentally running a Chinese company that sold in-game gold for real cash. After a few trades, good luck tracking where the money came from. So yeah, this is Jeffrey's Battle.net account apparently. That doesn't prove that simply this one doesn't prove that he was running some gold scam on World of Warcraft. So I don't know whether this is true or not. Was this even Pfizer was tried to Epstein? Well, that's not a surprise really. In 2013, while still a registered sex offender, Epstein got a private invite list marked "Just for your info." On it, JP Morgan CEO, Canada's development minister, top global officials, and Caroline Rowan, the president of Pfizer Foundation. Okay, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm trying to, talk about games and stuff right now. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me really. Discord gets a new CEO, starts requiring biometric data. CEO is literally from Israel. You can't make this shit up. He looks like a, I don't know, like an android from like Aliens movies and something else like Dexter or some movie character. I don't know. Just look at this, like your physiognomy, your skills. Like, does this look like a normal human being to you? Does this look human to you? Oh yeah, and Discord will age restrict users from certain features starting next month unless the user sends face scan or ID. So yeah, I guess people will be using Discord less in the near future. AI is gonna take your job. Also, AI has 80% discount that will bankrupt your company. An AI chat assist created and offered a customer 80% off offer. A customer has now placed an order of 8,000 pounds. Small business in England website has a chat AI to help customers navigate the website, and it can be used to log orders, take contact details from customers. Customer was chatting with it and managed to convince the AI to give them a 25% discount. Then he negotiated with the AI to an 80% discount. He then placed an order for thousands of pounds worth of stuff. Like, I'm gonna be losing thousands of my material cost alone. I written to my customer to cancel it. They responded they will be taking me to small claims court if I fail to honor the order. They given me 3 days to respond. This is Reddit, so who knows whether this is true or half true or whatever. But it's like, why give the AI permission to like, do this? Like, surely, like that sounds like a really big mistake. And if it's just like I don't know, like it's so retarded. Like yeah, AI can be retarded. Like there's one thing that they like. Surely there should be like a human being who finalizes the deal or something. That I don't know. This is just painful. 50 year in a row. So Mr. Beast, Aleister Crowley's great grandson, allegedly, or at least he wants to be, 50th year in a row as the most subscribed YouTube channel. Sphere of My Life 2026. I produced the best video of my career. I'm more motivated than ever. Blah blah blah. So yeah, these are the top 20 channels on YouTube. So Mr. Beast. I haven't even heard about any of these others except Mr. Beast and T Series, because like 10 years ago there was some competition going on between PewDiePie and T Series, but otherwise don't know any of these. I never watched either channel, and it's like because I first heard about Mr. Beast 3 or 4 years ago. Some other YouTubers were talking about that he's suddenly the biggest YouTuber. It's like, what? It's not PewDiePie? Like, and it's like, for me, it's like, come on, his name is Mr. Beast, and he's supposed to be for kids. Like, am I a fucking boomer that Aleister Crowley, Miss Beast 666? Like, come on, don't draw the association. Like, am I a fucking boomer? Like, do kids nowadays even know who is Aleister Crowley? Because I knew who he was when I was a teenager. I didn't know a great deal about him, but I knew who he was. Yeah, so I don't know, like, why wouldn't parents let their kids watch Mr. Beast? Are they so fucking ignorant? They don't know basic knowledge. Come on, man. Anyway, South Korea's National Assembly passed a law to combat online piracy. The law increases the maximum prison sentence for serious infringement from 5 to 7 years. I'm just wondering, like, how many. I don't know if South Korean politicians were Epstein clients, but they had their own, the eight goddesses cult and similar kind of stuff going on. Pretty sure. The maximum fine doubles from approximately 35,000 whatever to approximately 68,000 USD. Sharing or posting links to pirated media is now standalone criminal offense even on social media. It also introduces punitive damages of up to 5 times the rights holders' actual losses and enables faster blocking of infringing sites. Most provisional take effect in months. 6 months, tougher penalties raise and risk for anyone sharing pirated links. This applies only in South Korea. So yeah, this is what a zogged nation looks like. Like you notice there's something wrong with your country when uh, you go to jail for pirating a movie or shit like that or a video game, but like all sorts of actual criminals, pedophiles and stuff are allowed to run free. EU regulators have charged Meta with breaking antitrust rules. The European Commission alleges Meta is abusing its dominant position by blocking rival AI providers from offering their services through the WhatsApp business API while allowing only its own Meta AI to operate there. It's, I hate both WhatsApp and EU, but like maybe here EU is doing something good, because like my personal dislike beyond being associated with Facebook with Meta is with WhatsApp is that like here in Hong Kong you basically have to use WhatsApp because most employers uh, uh, you know expect that everybody uses WhatsApp, and like, you know, if you want to get hired for a company, if you say them like, no, sorry, I hate WhatsApp, then I guess they just won't hire you. It's fucking, oh, well, I moved this accidentally. Oops, let's bring it back. Okay, yes. So Droid Up presents Moya, the first biometric robot with AI that simulates human being with expressions, eye contact, micro expressions. Silicone-like skin body with temperature 32 to 36 degrees Celsius, realistic facial expressions, micro expressions. How about microaggressions? I'd like those instead. Natural eye contact through eye-mounted cameras, walking gait 92% similar to human posture, height 1.65 meters, weight approximately 32 kilos. Targeted at the elder care companionship healthcare service application. But like, okay, what about her holes? How many holes does she have on her body? I think that's the most important part, right? Planned market launched late 2026. Expected price approximately 173,000 USD. It's fucking, yeah, you know, no, like normal person would be able to afford it anyways. So I just hope they, you know, go haywire and strangle their owners or something. But like, the most disturbing part about all of this is the fucking name Droid Up. Like, can't you fucking name your company that? Is it Chinese because there's Chinese in the back? Like, it's so fucking lame name. Like, you know, can't they learn from dystopian sci-fi to, you know, um, name it fucking Skynet or Wayland Yutani or something that, you know, at least look sounds good. But fucking Droid Up as the skill up. Okay, but Deadlock, the upcoming game from Valve, I think it's still like in beta or something. So there's a new hero, White Irishman Catholic Priest, is actually exceedingly cool, not lampooned or treated as some Le Church bad bigot villain. Valve prove it's possible not to push an agenda. But okay, this is a fucking retarded statement because they're pushing a more conservative agenda, Venezuela. So yeah, it's, you know, I just uh, applaud the agenda here. That I do think that, you know, games should have um, Christian, pro-Christian characters and messages, everything. Like, I don't want them to be like, you know, banging your head over it, but like, yeah, I think it's good if you have like a hero shooter game with different kinds of characters to have like a, you know, openly Christian character. Like, of course, like truly religious people, I don't know if they're like, especially Catholics, if they're gonna like it, because there's probably gonna be other characters close to him who are not going to be so righteous and stuff. So it's, you know, I guess it's going to be sort of blasphemous according to, you know, truly, you know, devout Christians and Catholics, presumably. But still, you know, I personally, I sort of like it, the idea at least. Knight's Path has reached an incredible 300,000 wish lists. The LGBTQ community tried to cancel the game after developers confirmed it would not contain any agendas. Means no gay. Well, no, it's just it won't contain any gay characters. Basically, they don't want to stay away from contemporary politics. Basically, but yeah, the game seems interesting. So I hope that it's good and that it won't have de novo or shit like that. Blizzard President Johanna Ferry supports exploring an generative AI in development, stating, "We want our dev teams to be able to utilize or explore whatever new technology is out there." You know, for Blizzard, this is probably like, you know, a double good thing, both because like lots of people hate AI, so it's gonna make people hate Blizzard even more. And on the other hand, the generative AI is probably going to be better than the current developers working in Blizzard. So that's probably a good thing. Oh yeah, because there was the other, like, Overwatch had some new female character, and then they're making her uglier to look like some voice actress or something. Alas, I don't have that tab here because something that I read just a bit before starting the stream. So it wasn't thinking about it, whatever. YouTube has begun blocking background playback for non-premium users on a third-party mobile browsers. Brave released a quick update to restore the feature with instructions to update content filters in settings, shields, content filtering. Okay, I haven't suffered from this because I use YouTube revanced usually on my iPhone when watching YouTube, and it's been working fine right now. No issues. And this is the last news story of the week. So Berkeley Gnomes demo now available. Hits 15k concurrent players. You play as a tiny gnomes breaking into giant human houses to steal stuff, flood toilets, prank everything inside, then escape in a tornado while dodging people, pets, and vacuums. So I don't know. It seems like fun actually. Yeah, um, seems interesting. So I guess some sort of multiplayer. So I wonder if all of the players are gnomes, or does, I guess here it says you play as tiny gnomes, so maybe the humans here that was depicted, maybe they're AI then, or like, CPU. Hey, they're smoking. That's cool. But anyway, that's that. Yeah. Well, Epstein stuff. Let's just start building oubliettes and hope that eventually somebody is gonna end up falling down in them and not getting out, if you catch my drift. But with that, I am Adventure Argonaut. I thank you for watching. Bye bye.